Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, where we blend those casual conversations with some insightful discussions on all the latest in technology and gadgets.
Exactly.
And today we are diving headfirst into the world of AI.
Okay.
It feels like AI is absolutely everywhere these days, from our phones to,
Yeah.
well, maybe even our refrigerators soon. We'll see about that.
Yeah.
But really, it's impacting everything, even the games we play.
It's true. And, it's not just about AI being in games, but how it's actually changing the way they're made.
So let's start with something that everyone's been talking about, that leaked video of Aloy from Horizon Forbidden West. Sony's apparently been tinkering with an AI-powered version of her that can hold real-time conversations.
Right.
Pretty wild, right?
It definitely caught everyone's attention. The tech behind it is a fascinating blend of OpenAI's Whisper for speech recognition, GPT-4 and Llama 3 for generating those clever responses.
Right. And on top of that, they've got their own tech handling, things like voice synthesis and facial animations, trying to make it all feel as natural as possible.
Oh.
But I got to say, the voice in that leaked video felt a little off. Kind of like an uncanny valley situation.
I see what you mean, and that's one of the biggest hurdles developers are facing, even with all these advanced AI models working together. Capturing that truly human-like nuance in conversation and expression is incredibly difficult.
So what's missing, is it just a matter of time before the tech catches up? Or are there fundamental limitations we're bumping up against?
It's a bit of both, actually. On one hand, these AI models are constantly evolving and getting better at mimicking human speech patterns and emotions.
Right.
But replicating the subtle cues, the tiny inflections and pauses that make a conversation feel genuinely natural, that's a whole other level of complexity.
So while it's cool to imagine having like a real back and forth with an AI character, we might be a ways off from it feeling truly believable.
Exactly. And then there's the ethical side of things. As AI gets more sophisticated, we have to consider the implications.
Oh, totally.
What happens when these AI characters start blurring the lines between fiction and reality?
Yeah.
It's a conversation we need to have.
Definitely food for thought. But while Sony is still working on perfecting its AI, Microsoft is taking a slightly different approach.
Oh, yeah.
Next month, they're launching Copilot for gaming on Xbox. Think of it like an AI assistant for your gaming sessions.
I've been following this one closely. It's fascinating because it goes beyond just chatting with AI characters. Copilot can actually offer personalized strategies based on your gameplay.
Right. Imagine getting real-time tips tailored to your style instead of having to pause and consult a wiki. And the best part is it's coming to mobile, too. No more arguments over who gets to hog the TV.
It's a clever way to integrate AI into the gaming experience without necessarily replacing human interaction. And, both Sony and Microsoft have emphasized that AI is meant to enhance, not replace human creativity in game development.
Yeah.
It's about giving developers more tools to work with.
It's almost like they're trying to preemptively address those concerns about AI taking over jobs in the creative industries.
I think that's a smart move. There's a lot of anxiety around AI's potential impact on the workforce, and it's reassuring to see these companies acknowledging those concerns and highlighting the collaborative aspect of human-AI partnerships.
But let's be real. The possibilities here are pretty mind-blowing. Imagine games that could adapt to your playstyle, crafting custom quests just for you, or even building new levels as you explore. It's almost like having a game that evolves alongside you.
It is exciting to think about. And, this whole idea of AI assistants, especially these AI agents everyone's buzzing about, brings up an interesting point. What exactly is an AI agent anyway?
You're telling me it feels like everyone's throwing that term around, but there's no clear consensus on what it actually means.
Right.
Some companies even use it for multiple things, which just adds to the confusion.
It's like trying to pin down a cloud. So where does that leave us? Are AI agents just hype, or is there real substance behind all the buzz? That's what we need to unpack.
Well, it's definitely more than just hype. AI agents can be incredibly powerful tools, but the key is understanding their limitations. Right now, they're best suited for handling very specific tasks.
So not quite like those sci-fi movies where AI runs everything, then?
Not yet, anyway. But think about practical applications. An AI agent could schedule your meetings, filter your emails, or even help you research a topic. It's about automating tasks and making our lives a little easier.
Makes sense. So it's less about AI taking over and more about AI being a really, really helpful assistant.
Exactly. But it's still early days. We need to be realistic about what AI agents can and can't do and make sure we're using them responsibly.
All right, so we've talked about AI in gaming and these AI agents that are popping up everywhere, but AI's impact goes way beyond just those areas, right? I mean, it's a global phenomenon. Absolutely, and it's interesting to see how different players on the global stage are reacting to AI's rise, for instance. Both OpenAI and Google have been actively lobbying to minimize AI regulations, particularly under the previous administration.
Wait, really? Why would they want less regulation? You'd think they'd want some safeguards in place, especially with something as powerful as AI.
Well, their argument is that stricter regulations in the U.S. could stifle innovation and give other countries, particularly China, a competitive edge in the global AI race. It's a complex issue with valid points on both sides.
So it's not just about the technology itself, but about who controls it and how it's used on a global scale. It's almost like a new kind of arms race.
You could say that, and it highlights the geopolitical dimension of AI. It's not just a technological advancement. It's a force that could reshape global power dynamics.
Okay, so things are getting a little heavy here. Maybe we should take a step back and talk about something a bit closer to home. What about AI in our everyday gadgets? Any cool new developments there?
As a matter of fact, yes, Apple is reportedly working on bringing live translation to AirPods. Imagine popping in your earbuds and having real-time translations of conversations happening right in front of you.
That would be incredible, especially for someone like me who can barely speak a second language.
Yeah.
No more awkward fumbling with translation apps while traveling. But wait. Doesn't Google already have this feature with their Pixel Buds?
They do. Google's been ahead of the curve on this one, but Apple's entry into the live translation arena could really heat up the competition and push the technology even further.
It's always fun to see those two tech giants going head to head. But thinking about live translation and AI in general makes me wonder about accuracy. How reliable is all this AI-generated information, really?
That's a crucial point. A recent study actually found that AI search engines gave incorrect answers over 60% of the time when asked news-related questions. That's a pretty alarming statistic.
Wow, 60%. It's more than half the time. It makes you realize we can't just blindly trust everything AI spits out.
Exactly. It's more important than ever to be critical thinkers and double-check our sources, especially in a world where misinformation is so rampant. We can't let AI do all our thinking for us.
Well said, but let's not get too doom and gloom here.
Yeah.
There's still so much potential for AI to do good in the world.
Absolutely. And we've only just scratched the surface of what's possible.
Speaking of scratching the surface, there's this startup called Bluesky that's been making waves lately.
Yeah.
Right, Bluesky, they're like the cool indie alternative to the big social media giants. What's fascinating is they're not just building a platform, they're actually trying to create a whole new protocol for social media.
It's a bold move. They want to decentralize social media, giving users more control over their data and how it's used. It's a direct challenge to the centralized model that companies like Meta have built their empires on.
And people are eating it up. Remember that Bluesky t-shirt they sold at South by Southwest? The one with the Latin phrase, poking fun at Zuckerberg?
Oh, yeah.
It went viral, and they ended up selling a ton more to support their developer programs.
They sold out in just 30 minutes. It shows they've really tapped into a desire for something different, something that puts users first. It'll be interesting to see if they can actually pull it off, though. Building a decentralized social media platform that can compete with the giants is a massive undertaking.
Totally. It's a David versus Goliath situation, but sometimes the underdog wins. And hey, speaking of shaking things up, have you heard about Turn AI? You're trying to reinvent GPS?
I have. Instead of relying solely on satellites, which can be finicky, especially in cities or tunnels, they're using data from a car's sensors to create a more accurate and reliable navigation system. It's a pretty clever idea.
Imagine a GPS that never loses you in a concrete jungle or sends you on a wild goose chase through back alleys. No more arriving late because your GPS thought you could drive through a building.
Right. And as self-driving cars become more prevalent, this kind of hyper-accurate GPS will become even more crucial. It's all about creating a seamless and safe navigation experience.
Okay, so we've got AI changing how we play games, how we navigate the world, and even how we connect with each other online. It's almost like every aspect of our lives is being touched by AI in some way.
And that trend is only going to accelerate, but as AI becomes more deeply integrated into our lives, it's crucial to remember that it's a tool.
Yeah.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
It's like that old saying, with great power comes great responsibility.
Exactly. We need to be thoughtful about how we develop and use AI, ensuring it benefits humanity as a whole and doesn't lead us down a path we regret.
It's a balancing act, for sure. But hey, let's end on a slightly lighter note. Have you heard about Brian Johnson, the guy who's obsessed with living forever?
Oh, yes, the biohacking entrepreneur. He's always pushing the boundaries of what's possible, experimenting with all sorts of crazy techniques to extend his lifespan.
Well, his latest project is called foodome sequencing. It's kind of like genome sequencing. But for food, he wants to track everything people eat and analyze the toxins and nutrients in those foods down to a molecular level.
I see. So it's about understanding the impact of food on our bodies in a much deeper way than ever before.
Exactly. And Johnson believes this knowledge could help us make healthier choices and potentially even extend our lives. Whether or not he achieves immortality is anyone's guess. But it's a fascinating idea.
It certainly is, and it highlights how AI and data analysis can be used to transform not just our external world, but our internal world as well. It's all connected.
Well, folks, I think that's about all the brain food we can handle for one deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground today, from AI-powered games to decentralized social media, from hyper-accurate GPS to the quest for immortality. It's clear that AI is shaping the future in some pretty profound ways.
It's an exciting time to be alive, that's for sure. And as AI continues to evolve, who knows what amazing breakthroughs await us just around the corner.
Thanks for joining us on this whirlwind tour of the AI landscape. And remember, just because a machine says it doesn't make it true. Always think critically, question everything, and stay curious.
Well said.
Thanks for tuning in to Byte-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions.